Hello, everyone. I'm Armstrong WIlliams. Thank you for joining us for this Monday, November 23rd video blog. I read where Bill and Melinda Gates are giving about $330 million to help deal with the drastic low educational levels in many of their high schools around this country. It's a noble and generous thing to do, and it's such a blessing to be in a position where you can make a difference in someone's life. But in the long run, are the Gates or anyone else who contribute significant dollars to education making a difference? I would be bold enough to say for school vouchers, and if a parent could take their kid out of a failing high school and move it to a place where the kid actually learns, I think that's a good investment of your money. But did you know that and this is for public high school, by the way, public high schools are more segregated today than they were during the height of segregation and discrimination during the 50s and the 60s. I know you may find that astounding, but it is a fact. And the segregation today is by choice. And what happens today if affluent and wealthy families' kids are not learning in these public schools? They have the financial resources where they can just yank their kids out of that school and move them to a neighborhood where kids are learning. You know, poor families don't have that kind of option where if their kid is failing, that they have the resources to empower themselves to give their kid a different choice. In my opinion, and I write about education and educational issues often, is that money and learning is not necessarily synonymous. I mean, there are kids that you can spend all the money in the world on, but you have little or nothing to show for it. I think it boils down to the teachers. You have teachers teaching math who have no degree in math. You have teachers teaching science. They have no degree in science. Many of the teachers just don't have the skill set. And plus, there's such a shortage of teachers these days because many of the teachers just don't want to go into a war zone. They just don't want to deal with the fact they have to go through metal gates. They have to be the counselor, the parents, the disciplinarian, the friend, and then the teacher to these kids. And the parents are not helpful because they're so quick to say what their kids will and will not do. They're not being taught self-respect and respect for learning at home. And so unless a kid has a healthy respect for learning, value the role and the importance that a teacher have in their lives, not much is not going to change. It's not about money. It's about what the kid values. And those values are reflected back in the classroom. Actually, I feel empathy for teachers today for what they are up against and trying to protect themselves in what has become a war zone environment, and also because they have such dedication and loyalty to teaching the child to learn because they know they have the greatest impact on a child's life, but knowing that the environment does not foster that any longer. So I would say to the Gates Foundation or anybody else that's trying to empower and make a difference in education, it has to start at home. The kids must want to learn. It's not just the parents whose kids are doing well who attend the PTA meetings, but it's the parents of the kids whose kids are not doing well that don't even show up. Parents or guardians or whomever need to take a stronger interest in their kids' life of learning and life of education. Until this happens, until before, because the intellectual gap in education starts before the child ever enter kindergarten. It's not enough for you, for your child for you to read to your child. Your child needs to read back to you to make sure that there's a curve where that child is learning. In other words, parents need to be more involved, and other institutions and individuals, whether they're mentors or others, need to be more involved in making sure that these kids have to have a healthy respect for learning. Because listen, as complicated as these video games are, and as complicated as the things that these kids have to learn, there's no excuse for why they cannot learn in the classroom. I'm Armstrong WIlliams. So let's stop making these excuses and stop blaming and saying that money is the end of all to resolving these educational problems. No, the kid must want to learn. I'm Armstrong WIlliams.